Hey, what's up everyone? It's your girl Brain Shanae, and today I'm going to be pretty much doing my October wrap up, so please stay tuned.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make.
And we're back. So like I said, I'm going to be doing my October wrap up. I wasn't very as successful as I thought I was going to be. I tried to do at least 3 books this month, but I didn't succeed, and I only was able to read at least 2 books, which is still pretty much I succeeded and failed at the same time. At least I got to read at least 2 of the books that I really wanted to read, and then I still am going to be reading the other one. It's just I couldn't fit it in October because there was just so much going on. But yes, so let me go ahead and get started. So the first book that I read was Slay by Brittany Morris. I was able to meet her and get my book signed, which I will leave up in the cards up above so you can see the book signing that I attended at Barnes & Noble when she came to Columbus, Ohio. And this book, I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars because this is an amazing book. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. There was never a dull moment. It was always something happening. And then I felt like I related so much to the main character, which I feel was amazing, which her name is Kiera Johnson, is her the main character's name. And I feel like I related so much to her because she goes to a predominantly white school. There's only, I think, two Black people at her school, her and her sister, I believe. That from what I know. Oh, and 3 people, her sister, and her boyfriend. And so I felt really related and close to this character because I wasn't high school, but I went to a mostly predominantly white college where there really wasn't a lot of Black people that attended that college. And so for her, when they were asking about her hair and all that, how she says certain things and how her mom says certain things like that's ghetto and whatever, what have you, I thought that was really cool and really interesting. I just loved it. Like if I give you an example, I can show you what I'm talking about. Like for instance, in like the chapter, or not chapter, but the page 14, where it illustrates how her frustrations was. So it says, "But I hate, and I mean hate, being the voice of Blackness here. At Belmont, where 50% of the students are Black and 70% are people of color, Malcolm and I got to be normal. Nobody was asking to touch my twist out. Nobody was asking him about his locks, and nobody was asking us for permission to appropriate Black culture as if we're the authority for our entire race." So just with that alone, with how her frustrations was at her school that she attends, and pretty much people come up to her, even her best friend asks her about, "Oh, I was thinking about getting box braids. What do you think of how it would look on me?" and everything like that. And you know, as far as being Black, you don't like people touching your hair. I don't like people touching my hair. I don't even like my husband doing it. Like, I really don't. And like when someone asks you to touch their hair, it's like, no, get your hands out of my hair. I don't know where your hands been. No, why would you be all up in my hair? Like, seriously? But you know, that's one of the things, and a lot of people don't realize that. Like, you know, it's just one of those things where, as far as being Black, is certain things that we don't like, and the questions you ask us is sort of strange. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you just asking me this because I'm Black? So a lot goes into it. But this book demonstrates this well of how it of what it is on a regular basis. And the examples of what I mean is also like on page 4, right at the very beginning of pretty much of how when the book starts. It says when her best friends ask Kiera, I believe her best friend Steph asked her, "Am I allowed to get dreadlocks?" Oh, what a question. Is she allowed to get dreadlocks? She's asking permission to wear a hairstyle that's been debated by people of many races for years and years as to whether it's appropriating Black culture. How am I supposed to tell her yes without giving the disclaimer that I can't speak of all Black people, and that she could ask any of us this question and get a different answer every time?" Which is correct. Like, I don't care if you get dreadlocks, you know, but that's me. This is my opinion. Just because I'm Black doesn't mean like I'm gonna just say hell no. But I mean, it's just, this book is very accurate when it comes to certain things. Like I highlighted a couple of things in this book that was very interesting to me, and I just really had to highlight it. I really highlighted a lot. Like Like, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it. I'm just reading certain things that I highlighted it because it's very important. Like, on page 204, this one it says, well, this is pretty much talking about the gaming. So for this, Kira had pretty much, before I even get into it, this is a rant because I really love this book so much. She had created a game and only certain people could play it. Mostly all Black people could play it. And there were certain things that you had to say in order to become part of the game, which I find it very interesting and I loved it so much. I highlighted it and it's just amazing. And I'm trying to find it because it was really interesting on how she was able to get people to be a part of her game and what it was all about. And I just really loved how she created it, what it was about, and everything like that. It was just really amazing. But her username for her game was Emerald, which was amazing. I love Emerald. But on top of that, when she created this game, there was a boy that was killed based on from playing this game because he was pretty much taking people's coins or whatever to get more moves and stuff like that in order to gain more props, would have in a degree to do better within the game. And so with this, a lot of people were blaming Emerald because they believe she's the person that created it, of course, and they're pretty much saying that this game was dangerous and what have you. It shouldn't be part of the culture, or it shouldn't be. And a lot of white people were also, is this just created only for white people only? I think that's racist and all that. And so there you have that degree in there as well, where that was brought into play in this book as well. But there was one thing that really like shocked me which was at the very ending of this book, which I cannot tell you because I don't want to spoil it. But there was so much going on in this game that I loved. You had to know a certain phrase or whatever to be invited into the game, and all that. And there were certain like how can I say this in a better light? Like, I'm sorry. It's just this book is so amazing. I would definitely read this again. But what I was trying to say is, like, this book, like, within this book, it was called cards. Pretty much like things of like you would never think. Like, you have the bald card, you have the weave card, you have the wobble card. There were so many things, the mega board card. There were many cards within this book, and it was basically when you were in the game of Slay, you pretty much get to duel people. And with that, it was just it's amazing how the duel works. And like, maybe I can give you an example of the duel. Within the book, they have a defense card, a hex card. It's really spot on. It's really interesting. I really wish this was a real game, and maybe Brittany, if you are watching this, you will maybe maybe you will create a game of Slay. That would be so amazing. I would play it. Like, I'm so serious. I would play it daily because it's just amazing. I love this. I love everything about it. And also it talks to you about, and it also brings about the issues of just games, how politically a lot of people are blaming games of violence, and that's making people violent because these games are violent. And I think I feel like I feel like that's an excuse. The person playing the game, they probably already are violent. They probably are like that. Nothing makes a person violent. That's who they are. That's the person they are. Like, I played Grand Theft Auto and all that, and like, since I played Grand Theft Auto, I'm immediately going to steal somebody's car and beat them up and steal their car. Like, no, that's just a game that I like to play. Like, and does that make me a thief or just a bully? No, I just like playing games. That does not make me who I am. That a game that I play does not determine who I am. And I feel like a lot of things politically, a lot of people that want to make up excuses come up with a way to get rid of games and everything, what have you. And so this book also brings about that issue that we're still having today, unfortunately. But this book generally is amazing. I love this. I love everything about it. The cards that are pretty much within this game that she creates is amazing. I wish I could give you a list of all the cards, but I don't have them all at once. I wish I could just give them all to you. Like, hey, they have this card, they have that card. I knew like the wobble card, for instance, was one. There was many other cards that was pretty much created for this for Slay the game. But anyways, like I said, I rate this a 5 out of 5 stars because this is a must read. I feel like a lot of people should read this. This gives you a perspective of how, you know, some of how we feel, like when you ask us questions like, should I get dreadlocks? Or like, I'm like, okay, if you feel like it's your hair, do what you want to do. Or like if somebody puts their hands in my hair, no, I don't like that. Like there's certain things that, you know, it's just, I'm still a person regardless of the color of my skin. I'm still a person. I'm still me. I have my own opinions. I have my own feelings. I have my own circumstances. I have my own this. I'm my own person, you know? But I do love this book a lot. Like Black Girl Magic, all I can tell you is it's Black Girl Magic for real. And it definitely gives you a lot of perspectives on certain things and everything like that. And just like I said, the ending of this book got me like crying. And I was so like, I was really surprised. Really surprised. There's even a card that is I forget what the card was, but it was a card that pretty much was based on like Du Bois. And I think there was also another one. All these cards were that are made within the game for Slay are inspired by something, anything, a stereotype, anything, what have you. It's all these cards that Emerald, or should I say Kiara, makes within the game. They all have some type of meaning to them, which I do love. And I'm trying to go through this book because it literally has a lot of cards in here, and I wish I could just have highlighted all the cards that I know, that at least I know about. But it's just really awesome, and I really loved it. And also, yes, this is what I meant to mention. The game, like the game is called Slay, but the land that's within Slay is called Wakandria. Yes, Wakanda forever. Yes, and that's what also another thing I wanted to bring up. Brittany Morris was so inspired by the Black Panther and Wakanda. She wanted to be like, oh my gosh, it would be so cool if there was a game pretty much based on Wakanda. And so she came up with this book and everything, and it came together. And then she brought up the and it's called Wakandria, which is amazing. So the title of the game is Slay, and the land is called Wakandria. Like that's amazing. Like I said, I would play this game, like for real. Like this is a great game that I could never, like that's something I can't even imagine it, but I want it to be real. I wanted to hold it in my hands. I want it to be something. Like it's just amazing. And like I'm trying to figure, like, yes, but it's called Wakandria. And then I wanted to tell you exactly like there was a certain phrase that they would use in order to be part of the game. And I'm trying to find it because it's really bothering me, because I know it on the top of my tongue, but I don't remember it right now, and it's really bugging me. So I did find it. So the one phrase that they use in order to pretty much become part of the game is, do you eat meat? So that was amazing. Usually with that phrase, that meant something. And I don't want to pretty much tell you everything, but that was a phrase that they would use, and that was like, oh, okay. And that's how they became part of the game and was able to play it and what have you. But literally this book is amazing. I really loved it. This was a fast read, by the way, but it was so good. It just had me turning the pages. It wanted me to keep knowing more and more what was happening, what was going to happen to Emerald, what was going to happen to the game, like so much. And so like Brittany Morris was spot on with this gorgeous, amazing book. Like even the cover is amazing. But yeah, so I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and I definitely recommend it to anybody who would read it. So this is one of the books that I read in October. The second book that I read, which was amazing, it got me going. Like it literally had me going. Like I'm glad I read it. I'm glad that I continue reading it. I will tell you the truth. I think I was having sort of a reading slump at first, but then I got into it. It was amazing. It was a page turner, and it kept me going. It kept me reading, and I was intrigued, and I wanted to know more. But this next book that I wanted to show you was amazing. It is the second book of, I believe, a trilogy, which is amazing, and I hope it becomes a movie. I really do, because I think it's amazing, and it's something that should be brought out there. But it is A Dream So Dark by L.L. McKinney. This book is amazing. I can leave my other video that I had recently did when I read the first one. I can leave that up in the cards. When I read the first book of this, I'll leave that in the cards. but this is the second book and it is amazing. Obviously the cover is amazing as it is, but I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars as well. It's amazing. It's pretty much talking about Alice as a warrior, not just any warrior, a Black warrior, and she's amazing. She cares so much about who she loves, and she wants them all to be safe. And with this, and there's a little romance in it, which I am a sucker for romance, so I don't really care. I know some people don't think it's a little cliche, but for me, I'm a sucker for romance, and I'll take it as it is. Even if there wasn't romance in this book, I'm still gonna read it because it's amazing. It's inspiring as well. Like, there was a certain part of the book that really got to me, and it made me think of something that in my reality of how we all feel and how we can get through things and how we can get through our fears. And so with this one, I can read this to you. It's not really a spoiler, but it says, what if I fall again? You might, Dad nodded. Might be worse next time, but you might just keep going. Then you must just get better. Then you might be the best. He smiled, tickling her other knee. My girl, best bicycle rider in the neighborhood. Alice giggled. The world? The world. She smiled, then looked at the bike again. An ugly feeling twisted in her stomach. I'm scared. That's all right. It's okay to be scared. I was scared when you fell over. My heart near jumped out of my chest. He sat his hand over it. But we can't let fear control us. We can't let it make decisions for us neither. You want to learn to ride a bike? Alice nodded. The heavy balls at the ends of her braids bounced against her shoulders. Don't let fear take that from you. Don't ever let fear steal anything from you, because it'll sure try. Sometimes fear lies and tells you you can't do something when you can do it, when you can do anything. Alice rubbed at the edge of the bandage slightly. But if I'm really scared, she stole another glance at the bike. Dad sighed and scratched at the bushel of hair along his chin as his nose scrunched. He was thinking, if you're ever really scared, I want you to take a deep breath like this. He inhaled, then exhaled slowly. Go on. Alice mimicked it. Again, she took another breath. That's right. When you're really scared, just breathe, baby moon. Then you say to yourself, I am Alice Kingston. Go on. I am Alice Kingston, and I am afraid. And Dad nodded, and I am afraid, but fear cannot stop me. Alice blinked, but fear cannot stop me. Now all together, I am Alice Kingston, and I am afraid, but fear cannot stop me. And then she repeats it. I am Alice Kingston, and I am afraid, but fear cannot stop me. Dad smiled wide. That's right. Can't nothing stop you, and that's the truth. Remember that, and that I love you, and you'll be all right. That one thing where Alice comes into this vision of her and her dad's and back into her life, because in the first book her dad does pass away and she loved her dad so much, and in the second book she is in this moment of pretty much fighting for her life and fighting for her friend's safety, and she pretty much has visions of her dad talking to her again, and she meets him again. Like, I don't know, it's like when you're at the brink of dying and you see your loved one pushing you back up, telling you could do this, don't give in. When I read this part of fear and everything, and don't let fear consume you, yes, you are afraid, but use that as your willpower to become stronger and to overcome your fear. And with that alone, that really got to me. I started crying because I really thought about, like, I'm always scared of stuff and I'm always afraid to do things, but then I realized I can do this. I cannot let fear consume me where I just don't do things. That's life. That's like when people are afraid of going out of their houses. Yes, walking outside of your door can be very scary, but then you don't want fear to be your life. You want to live your life and you want to overcome that fear. And just for this book alone, like with Alice as the main character, Alice Kingston, she faced her fear. Like in the first book she faced her fear, and in this book she faces her fears even more, and she even she talks to her dad even though he's passed on. Like, this book is amazing. It's inspirational. I definitely would recommend the trilogy, like at least the 2 books that's out so far. I definitely recommend this book. Like I said, this is a 5 out of 5 stars. I love this book so much. It's very inspirational. It's another version of Alice in Wonderland, but with a Black girl as Alice. And so with that, like I said, I definitely recommend this book, and it's a must read. Like, it's amazing. And it was a perfectly good book to read, especially for October because of Halloween, right? So yeah. And I also love the diversity in this book as well. Yes, Alice is Black, but if when she travels to Wonderland, she meets people that are Russian. She meets people that speak Japanese, and Wonderland is called Tokyo. You know what I mean? So it's still diverse. And so I still love this book. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. So altogether, I believe this month was very successful. I love both of these books. They were amazing. I can't complain about them. There's nothing I can say bad about them. They're amazing. Brittany Morris, you're awesome. LL McKinney, you are badass for this. And yes, like, this is amazing. This is what I definitely would read again, and I'm going to, of course. Probably when the 3rd book comes out, I'll probably reread all of them at once. But yeah. So that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this long ranting video of my wrap up. But if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But thank you so much, you guys. See ya.